right, AMG Hobby Talk number 24. We are back. First, Sherry's back. Sherry, how are you?
Oh, wonderful. Been away the last 2 weeks. We had, Summer's last March break. She'll be graduating this year. So we went down to New York and also visited the PSA offices over in New Jersey. And then last week she had her prom dress appointment. So I was not able to make it, but I'm sure the boys did wonderfully.
We managed. We managed in your absence. It wasn't too bad. And we actually did get some good feedback and some good comments. So I'll make sure I have those and we'll include those as part of the discussion. We'll talk a little bit about trade night. And also we're going to be we'll talk about the schedule in the upcoming because we got a holiday here coming up this weekend. And then down the road here in April, we've already talked about how the scheduling is going to change a little bit. So I'll make sure we touch on that. And then we'll also get to your comments because we did have some comments from the last episode. So we'll definitely touch on that as well. So before we get to that though, not to be remiss, Steve, Collective Scalps, Collective People, how are you today?
I am great. Sherry, it's just fabulous to have you back. We haven't seen you in a while. Team S.
Team S.
There you go. Perfect. Well done. So before we get started, Sherry, do you want to fill us in? So like I said, long weekend for a lot of folks. What are the dates? What are the hours? What do we need to know?
Yep. So typically we would have our trade night the last Friday of every month, but we had it this Friday just passed because it will be Good Friday this week. So the store will be closed Friday. We will be open Monday, and our card show is on Saturday. So 9 to 1 at the new location. Be there.
Perfect. Perfect. And in the same vein of what we always talk about, I'll just put it here right now. In the scrolling ticker, if you're watching the video version, AMG Sportscards on Instagram, amgcollectibles.ca website. You can go to either one of these places if you want to get notified. Also, the Facebook and all that is in the description. You can check that out. So if you need any updates on hours or if anything changes as far as dates, times, and everything else, those are the best spots to look at. Also, if you need a quicker response on something, you need a more urgent ask, those would be the places to look. So we want to make sure you do that. Otherwise, you can leave a comment in the description and we usually get to them the following week. But if it's more time sensitive, use one of the contact points in there. It's a better way of getting a quicker response. One more thing we'll talk about here, and I'll share it on the screen here with the little graphic. So like I said, this card show is going to be on the Saturday. But for April, we're going to have slightly different dates because of the Spring Expo. And we'll talk about more about that when we get closer to it. But we're about a month out. So we're going to start getting close in the next couple of weeks here, and we'll talk about it some more when we get to that point. But here's a little graphic on the screen. So Friday, April the 12th, and Saturday the 13th is your trade night, 5 to 8 p.m. on the trade night on the Friday. And then on the Saturday, 9 to 1, same location, same everything else that we just talked about. Just bear that in mind. For April, it's going to be right around the middle of the month as opposed to the end of the month, as is usually the case. Perfect. So we want to make sure we talk about that. And then let me get to a couple of comments that we got to. And by the way, thank you to everybody. We did get over 250 subscribers. So we did clear that number. So obviously the people just appreciated. The last couple of weeks got us that last push over the top. So now we'll start working our way towards 500, hopefully. Okay. So a couple of comments we got in here, including one as recent as about an hour ago. So pretty recent, pretty quick. So one last random question for debate. We'll see if we can get in the debate part, but I'll put in the question anyway. So we all know cards out of the pack aren't always a PSA 10. However, is there more of a chance to get a 10 out of a hobby box than retail? Thoughts? So actually, that's kind of a quick hitter. Generally speaking, no, because realistically, it's the same factory. It's the same general manufacturing process. You're still rolling the dice a little bit. There are some products that are a little bit better for just the way that the packaging is treated. But retail versus hobby, it should be very similar in terms of rates. Any thoughts, Steve or Sherry?
I'd agree. I mean, like you just commented on, maybe the product's tighter packed, something like that. Obviously, the less movement you would think, the better. But I've never really given it much thought. So thank you for the comment, I guess.
Yeah. Well, I think it's a worthwhile. It's a fair question because I think sometimes people think, is there any benefit to one type of packaging versus another? And the answer is yes. But when we're talking about packs that are still packs versus packs, because they're coming out of the same factory and predominantly being put into the same machines. So if the feeder has a problem and nicks a corner or something, that can happen. And it is a good point, though. It's a good call out because some folks that are a little newer may think, oh, it's out of the pack, it must be a 10. Not necessarily. Unfortunately, manufacturing stuff happens. Centering can happen. Edges and corners can get chipped. And we're very transparent about this. The upper deck product with the full bleed photos and things, chipping can happen. You got a dark border, chipping can happen. And unfortunately, there has been a history of different products where sometimes there's certain condition defect that tends to happen in certain issues, certain years, certain sets. Some of them are more notorious for it than others. And unfortunately, straight out of the pack.
That's one of the most used comments we hear too when people come into the store. It came right out of the pack and into a top loader, and I mean we hear that several times a day. And yeah, it doesn't necessarily matter that happens, but it's yeah, it's just a random thing. And like I said, whether it's coming off the line or movement in the box or during delivery, lots of factors can vary.
Yeah, there was someone that came in the other day. I think he had 4 or 5 Bedards, and he ended up keeping 2 of them just raw because there was actually 2. It was almost like an indented print line on the back right corner on both of them, right out of the pack. So
Yeah. No, unfortunately, that's the reality of it. And I've experienced it with Tops. I've experienced it with Upper Deck. I've experienced it with Panini. All of them have had this issue in one way or another. Unfortunately, it's not based on sport. It's not based on brand. It's not based on manufacturer. They've all Leaf as well. They've all had certain issues depending on the product, and some of them are fine. Now, other side of the coin, if everything was perfect, or again, PSA 10 is not actually perfect. Go look up the definition. There is a little tolerance built into it, but just so you guys know, a lot of people use that misnomer as perfect. It's not really perfect. It can be. It can be. A perfect card can be an attempt, but there's a little buffer there. But the point is that if you think, oh, it's got to be a PSA 10 out of the pack, if it was, then the premium for 10s would be less. Because if it was that easy to pull a 10 and you were getting constant 10s out of every single pack, then probably the premium that you could get for getting a 10 would actually be a little bit less because you'd have more. So it's a catch-22. If you actually have a 10 and there's some condition issues, then it's a little tougher to come by and you actually get more of a premium versus if everybody and their brother had a 10. Just some things to bear in mind, a factor as well. So thank you to Sean for those comments and the question. And Sean also a couple of days ago had a similar one. So congrats on 250 subs. Thank you. 1,000 subs is the next goal. We'll get to 500, but let's one step at a time. But I appreciate the enthusiasm. I'll spread the word. Great show this week. So thank you for that. I visited the shop this past weekend, picked up a PSA submission. Very pleased with them. Spoiler, Yagra Opichi Premium. Very nice. Got a gem in 10. Good for you. I wanted to point out great customer service there. The store was very busy. I was looking for something, and Sherry was terrific. There you go, Sherry. She was behind the counter and had a heads up watching the floor, knew exactly what product I was looking for, and even allowed me to try open and try it before I bought it. A 10-pack of Slab Strong bumpers. Keep up the great service.
Yeah.
So, good stuff. Appreciate the commentary. So Jason Raymond here. I just want to thank the collector of the scallops for another great Bergeron card for my collection, and the rest of the staff at AMG for their hard work during the Bedard Madness Week. I want a big shout out to Lloyd for an awesome grade. So thank you to Lloyd for the Bedard Clear Cut PSA 10. I can't wait to pick it up. Looked it over at the shop and told me that to send it in. Glad I did. So if you're on the fence about getting any cards graded, take them into AMG, and I'm sure one of the staff will give some advice on where or not is worth grading. So thank you for the comment there. So Daniel here says congrats on 250 subs. Thank you for that. Blaine Hamilton says congrats on 250 subs. Thank you for that as well. And here Gotham Collection said I went in last weekend to trade in a Brady to Chuck PSA 10 and went home with that and a Stutzla Young Gun PSA 10. Dreams can't come true when you visit AMG. Thank you. Great comments. Thank you all.
We change lives.
There you go. Listen, I'm not taking that much credit for it, but hey, I think I appreciate the comments. So thank you all for the kind
Love the comments.
Appreciate the feedback.
Great.
And appreciate the feedback. Hey, listen, I'm just going with what was there. These are the comments that were on the video. So thank you all. Appreciate the comments.
Definitely.
Good stuff. Okay, so what we're going to talk a little bit about trade night and everything. So let's do that first. So for the past trade night, how was the reception this time around? How was the crowd? What were people into? What was going on with this particular? Either one of you that wants to start.
Yeah, it was fantastic. Busy as usual, which happened to fall on another Pokemon release date. So that really amps the crowd up. So there was a lot of Pokemon people, but still a lot of hockey people too, with still the Bedard craze. So there was a little bit of everything and a little bit of everyone.
Yeah, I'd say it may have even been our busiest trade night. It was just steady, and again, we love seeing new people. We love seeing kids. We love seeing women come in. Again, like I mentioned last week, I'm just seeing more females get into the hobby, which I think is great, especially with the Women's Professional Hockey League. Mm-hmm. I would assume they're going to release a product for that. So they're heading in the right direction, and hopefully we'll add some new collectors to the store.
Yeah.
I think it's a good call out actually because enough of them have participated in the Olympic side of things that
Yep.
there's definitely a little cross section because they've done the Team Canada angle on it, and if you kind of you could cross brand that pretty easily, build up some interest in some rivalries with some of the existing teams. Some of the markets have at least responded strongly to it, so I've heard worse ideas. It's not a terrible idea to potentially take advantage of it. And again, you could angle if you could take advantage of some of the Olympic stuff as well. You could kind of play that with the player who is also known for the Olympics and kind of cross brand it that way. So I think that's some good stuff. So hopefully those of you who are out there can check out some of these trade nights and hang out and check it out for yourself. And we'll report back on future ones as we go forward. So let me start off here. We'll share some stuff here that for combination that came in the shop and also some stuff that's on some displays. So I'm going to start off some Pokemon displays. So Sherry, as we go through them, if you want to share anything related to these, I'll start sharing some images here on the video version portion.
Yes, so this is the Temporal Forces set that just came out on Friday, which, like I said, it was also during the trade night, so it really works out. So we have some ETBs, some booster bundles, booster boxes, battle decks, 3-pack blisters, regular blisters, some binders. There's a little bit of everything, and we still have a good allotment left, so come and get it while it's hot.
Nice,
And,
nice.
this here, this is our ETB box, booster box wall, but you'll see there's a huge assortment of many different products here that we actually haven't had in stock in a long time. The guys may have mentioned it previously, but they had gotten a collection in. So there's a lot of Pokemon Center boxes here, some rare items, some older items, some celebrations, which is one of my favorites, which we don't see often. So they probably won't last long. So come and get it.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Okay.
And then this is my sale display. So every week I try and add some more items that I have some extra of. So I'll put the prices down on those. So the combined power ones, I still have quite a few of those left. I'm surprised they didn't go as quickly as they did, but there's actually 11 booster packs in that box. So the one on the top left-hand shelf there. There's 11 packs in each one from Scarlet and Violet, which it doesn't look like there is because the box is actually quite smaller, but it's a great price. I have those on for 55 right now, down from 70. So good buy.
Nice. All right. We got one more display here to show off.
Yeah, and a few more different boxes that we have. Again, some of this I had, some of this came from a collection. It's a table of a little bit of everything.
Sounds good. Now I have a question actually, and again, this is where I have some fun because I get a chance to see these images. And no joke, pull behind the curtain here. I literally got these images moments before we hit live and started recording. So I have a question, and maybe it's just my eye catching it. It's funny. I wear these glasses not for fashion, but because I need them. But at the same time, the prescription's good.
Yeah,
Is there a pack holding up part of this table?
an empty one. I
Okay.
have a little unbalanced, so
Mm.
it's a blister pack.
Mm.
No cards
See,
are
Steve, these things do not miss my notice. I see these things. It's like I'm just looking at. Wait a minute, I see down there. All right,
Get
all
on.
right, all right. There you go. There, bonus Easter eggs. Y'all got to pay attention because sometimes there's sneaky things in there if you pay attention. I worked retail. I've seen a lot of sneakiness in my time. I'm just saying. Once upon a time, I worked retail.
Yeah.
Whatever works.
Yep. All right. So let me share with you a couple of items that came in the shop. So we'll go through a couple of them. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to sort them too much. The first couple are related to Parker's Champions. So there is a little bit of a theme to the first few. The rest of them, though, go a little bit back and forth, mix and match. So we'll talk through them a little bit. So the first one here is one of the parallels from it. The name escapes me. I guess just the red parallel. I can try to find the exact one. But this is the number to 51. So we've got an Austin Matthews here, veteran, red, number to 51, which is pretty good pull, I would say.
Yeah, and I got to say the Parker's Champions, it's I think the most enjoyable set I've seen in a while. First of all, it's very reasonably priced, and you can get some good pulls out of it, and it's a nice little reprieve after the madness of Series 2. Watching people's hands shake as they open the Series 2 boxes. This was just nice to see them relax and enjoy and pull some nice cards.
Mm-hmm. Now, I'm going to use this as an example, kind of playing off that first comment that we talked about. So this is an example. This one came effectively right out of a pack. And it's a very nice card, by the way. So if you're an Austin Matthews fan, this is a great card. But if you can see on the video version, if you see audio version, I'll describe it for you a little bit. This card has a very strong, pronounced red border. Upside, very striking. It pops. It's very colorful. Downside, chipping and edges. This one here isn't too bad. I've definitely seen worse, but I can see, like, just looking at it real quick, I can see on the one edge there very easily. I can see a little bit of chipping. I can see a little bit of, potential damage. It's not bad because it likely just came out of the pack like this. But it's the point, unfortunately, when you've got a solid border like that, those tend to be prone to this type of issue. So just bear that in mind. And this is straight out of a pack. So nobody did anything wrong, but you can see it right in the image. It comes right off the page. Unfortunately, a solid border will show this off even more so than another one. So what I want to do is I'll go through a couple more cards, but I do see we have a special guest. So should I bring in the special guest? Do you think would be now the right time?
Make them wait. Make them wait.
we could. Let's play into it. Let's bring it. Brian Hartlin, never seen you before. How are you?
Doing wonderful today. How are you?
Doing well. So listen, first time, long time listener, first time caller, no doubt. But what do we got you here for? What do you want to say? What do you want to add today?
I thought I'd just add a little bit of color since Steve can be a little dry sometimes. So I wanted to just step in to make sure that everything was going all right. And also because our buddy Blair is, I'm sure, I don't know if you discussed it yet, but he's battling another disaster at his house that he has. He seems to have no luck with that thing. So I just thought I'd pop on, but I did want to discuss a few little things. There's been a lot of chatter lately, and we are making an announcement next week, but I thought it'd be good to put it out there now, especially for everyone that listens to the AMG podcast, that on-site grading was a great success in November 2023 for us. PSA, we have committed to come back in November 2024. I think I did mention that on Carlos, your podcast as well. We will be doing take-home submissions this April. If you want to submit your cards on your account, you can simply fill out a submission form through the OSC, the Online Submission Center. Bring it, drop it off, and we'll ship it directly to Santa Ana from the show. That's another little added feature. Before, we were shipping all the items back to Halifax for processing. Everything will be processed at the show, and we're going to be shipping directly to California from Toronto, which will speed up the turnaround time. It took us about two to 4 weeks in that range by the time we get all the orders back. And also, if you want to submit through PSA Canada, as usual, we'll be doing that as well with the same thing. We're going to be shipping all the orders directly from Toronto back. So I wanted to put that out there. There's lots of chatter about PSAs not coming back, or it wasn't a success. It wasn't this, it wasn't that. Anyways, long story short, it was a great success for us. Hopefully we have this once a year. The fall show is the show that we have chosen to bring on-site grading. So that was that. And then part two, I wanted to put it out. I have talked to you, Carlos, about it, but if there's anybody that is interested in, based out of Ontario, that's interested in joining the PSA team, I don't have the details yet, but if anybody is, you can reach out to me. Maybe we can put up the PSA Canada at collectors.com email address, or you can message us on social or reach out directly to me. Everything is available at psacanada.ca to reach out to me. But we do have some opportunities that we're working on. Like I said, I can't discuss the details, but if you are in Ontario and you are looking potentially to join the PSA team, and I am going to be looking for experienced people in the collectibles industry for full-time and part-time positions in the Ontario region coming soon.
Right on. So I'll put it on the screen there real quick. PSA Canada collectors.com. So there's one of your contact points, and that's one contact point that you can get there, and also psacanada.ca. So you can go check that out. Once upon a time, someone who looks like me, it was my evil twin. There was a PSA Canada YouTube channel that still exists there. A lot of those same contact points are still valid. So just to let you know that it's the same kind of, but you can also, like I said, use the email address on here. It's a very straightforward way that you can check it out and get it and follow up and get information. By the way, you can use it for other questions related to the PSA Canada service, submissions, all that. If you don't understand something, use the contact point. I've had people refer to me directly because, again, they think I'm my evil twin. I don't know why. We don't look alike, like we're completely different people. But I've also referred them to the website and to the contact points. I literally give them the email address and say, hey, just shoot an email. Look, I don't represent. I'm not working there. I can't answer that for you. I can give you general answers, but this is if you want to get the direct point from the source. Better off to get it from the source.
Yeah.
We're covered at Hartlin. You see, that's how it's done, like a professional.
I know, absolutely.
Stick the landing.
I still think we'll be back. We'll be back at some point someday. I think I'm quite confident we will. We'll go to the masses. We have to. We can compete directly with AMG's channel, which would be fantastic. Lots.
I don't know. It's tough. Listen, I got collectors of scallops over here. Like this is a very. I got Sherry and collectors of scallops. It's a pretty strong lineup, man. I'm not going to tell you.
Don't forget Flair.
No disrespect to Kevin and Luke, but it's a pretty strong lineup. I got to be honest.
I know.
Oh, that's awesome.
Awesome. Sherry should show off her submission order that she got back yesterday. It was fantastic.
Oh boy. No. Those are fighting words.
I think I have it right here.
Anything else you want to? So go for it, Sherry. Anything else you want to add in, Brett? So those are the kind of the high level. So let me reiterate what you were saying.
Yeah.
There's the on-site submissions is going to come back for the November show. That'll be back for that one. For the upcoming show, the one that we'll be doing in about a month, give or take, it'll be submissions, like kind of what people are used to. By the way, I did laugh since I hadn't heard the chatter that you were talking about. I guess I'm not surprised because people just say stuff, but I'm like, if that wasn't busy, then what the heck were we doing? Where the heck was the lines? Like, what the heck was all that stuff? Like, I was there. It's like, we couldn't get a word in edgewise half the time because there were people submitting stuff all the time. It's like, if that's not successful, I don't know what is. It seemed like a lot of cards were going through that section as far as I was concerned, but to each their own, I guess.
Yeah, no, that's why I just wanted to put it out there that it was a great success, and it is a huge operation, as everyone's seen. And to bring that operation across the border from the U.S., it was impressive. We learned a lot of things, so we're going to hopefully be able to make it even more efficient. And I'm excited.
Yeah, and from my standpoint too, just like said, Brad, the logistics of making it happen. Watching Brad stress a little bit, trying to make sure everything went perfectly, and it did. There was a few hiccups, but it was impressive. And, people need to realize the effort that Brad made, working with PSA to get them here. And I could see why it is only going to be once a year, which I'm finding that out now as well, just because it's a heck of a job to make this happen.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Thanks. I'm trying to figure out, I feel like Steve is a lot like Eric. He has a lot of Eric qualities and similarities. And I feel like Steve just said something nice about me right here, and I'm kind of caught off guard because.
Can I say who is Eric? I don't know. I don't know who's Eric.
And listen, it's not a comparison you want, Steve. Like secretly, I would be very offended by even the implication of such things. Eric is a special child. Very special.
Twice. I'm worried now.
Very. That's why I say, like, it's like a lot of people don't think like there's a little edge to Brad Hartlin at the moment. Like I just saw it come out. Like it's like he sharpened the knife beforehand. Like, geez, Brad.
Absolutely, I like it.
My coffee hasn't even kicked in yet. I don't know if I can handle this kind of business this early in the morning. Like, work with me here.
You are rubbing off on me, Carlos. Over the years, my online presence I have a little bit of an edge now, especially when you mention certain people, Eric.
Sari, I don't know what. I am a man of peace. I don't know why they blame me. They always blame me. They're like, "Oh, it's Carlos. It's because of you." No, it is not. Man of peace. I'm here for tranquility, love, peace, love. That's all I'm about.
It's a positive thing, though. It's positive.
Yeah. And that's one other last thing I will mention too. Check out the specials tab that is on psacanada.ca. You need a Collectors Club membership to access these PSA Canada exclusive specials. Okay. Something that I worked on very hard in a long time to get. So April's special will be released on April 1st, and that special will be available for all of April, and it's directed towards our Canadian market. So, last month we had a hockey exclusive special, where in the US they do a baseball exclusive. And again, not that we don't accept baseball cards here, but number one is still hockey. So I'm creating these specials with our customer base in mind. So some of them, like last month, was $5 a card. So if your membership costs you $150 at the time. If you have a 30, 40 card order, you get your money back right out of the get-go. So.
Well, that's so to your point. So I'm glad you brought that up, because I would take full advantage of it, because the PSA membership has gone up in price. They have added some other items to it, like some breaker credits and things like that. But if you're not a big breaker, then you're not really reaping the benefit. It just increases the price. But in that case, if you have exclusive, collector club membership benefits in terms of pricing and everything like that, that can be where you do start to recuperate some of your money and get it back. So something like that would actually be very useful. So It's a good call out.
And that's what I'll always market it that way. I'm not going to market all the add-ons, because they're all add-ons and they might not be useful for some people. Personally, I love the PSA magazine. I know I think it's just nice. I enjoy when it comes. It's great, but I'm not going to sell you on getting a membership for that. When I will sell you on, save $5 a card. That's right in the bottom of your wallet. So.
All right. Sounds good.
Awesome. All right. Well, I'll get out. Carlos, I look forward to seeing you hopefully again on this. Yeah. Good.
You don't want to see my.
I don't take holidays, Hartlin. Dude, like,
I know you don't. I know. Absolutely.
The live stream rolls on.
We have to see Sherry's PSA order, though. You called her on it.
Oh, yeah. Can you see that? Like, just so there's.
Go for it, Sherry.
You get special treatment.
That is a PSA 2. I'm pencil on the back, but it looks like it was eaten by the dog. I don't know how that's.
I was going to ask, did you know it was a 2 when you sent it in?
I'm convinced I didn't send it, and somehow it went with my order. But
all right, so here it is, Carlos. So let's just put this together. It was an AMG store order that was submitted through PSA Canada. 85 cards. There was one Pokemon card of Mew, who Sherry collects, as you can see by her background. It came back a PSA 2, and then she does the Steve Potty, hands in the air, like, I don't know, that's not my card. No, that definitely would not be your Mew in the AMG order.
I mean, I guess it's definitely mine, but how it got through there.
No, it is.
Yeah, we know.
I think we're gonna have to have a discussion about I think what we're gonna need is we're gonna have a episode where we have a couple of discussions about things to look for before you submit, because yes, you do have the option to ask people at the store and everything, like, but it's not a terrible idea to get. Look, we'll put it to the side. I'm gonna put it on the board here. We're going to do a discussion where we'll talk about some things to look at on your own cards before you even bring it in. Yeah, you want to get a second opinion, do that, but it's not a terrible idea to give it a once. So I've heard way too many people saying, like, I have no idea why I got the graded, and then I look at it in 3 seconds. I go, well, there's a crease there, there's a thing there, there's a thing there, there's a thing there. That's why.
Yeah. This card actually,
I can see it through the case. So
this card actually has a hole in the middle of the card.
Yeah.
So if there's a hole, don't send it.
A hole and teeth marks on the card is not going to grade well.
No.
There's certain issues that you can see on the front of it, like it says Tom Brady poor, automatically. Like, even I don't need to see anything else. I've seen enough.
All right. Well, you guys enjoy the rest of the show. I have to get back to helping Lloyd here process orders and get these shipped out.
Sounds good. Thank you, Brad. Appreciate you.
Thanks.
All right. So it's Brad Hartlin from PSA Canada.
What I'm going to do now is have a whole set from authentic up to the 10, and now I'll have a grade of every type.
Brilliant. I have seen people put that together. That is a thing you can do. That is a way, a tactic.
It didn't start it intentionally, but I mean, here we are.
See, the thing is, so jokes aside, the people that I have seen that try that, the tricky part is trying to get those middle grades. A poor or authentic is actually very straightforward, but when you do 3, 4, 5,
yeah, I've gotten those. I think I need a 1 and an authentic.
Okay. Well, authentic shouldn't be too difficult, but it's one of those things. Some of those in between grades though is where it gets a little bit tricky. So I'll go back to sharing some more. So as I said, when Brad was on here, I did show you the PSA Canada email address. So that's on there. I'll try to include that in the description here again for you if you want to check that out. And we'll include the psacanada.ca URL for the homepage if you want to check it out, and you can check out some of those things related to it. And again, we'll talk a little bit more about plans and everything related to the Spring Expo, because that's going to be its own thing. And there's probably going to be a submission center there, as is usually the case, as Brad mentioned. But also, if there's any special pricing or anything related to it, that information will be relayed here in the coming weeks as we get a little bit closer. So let me go back to where we were. We did have a handful of cards left that we wanted to go through. So we're going to do that. I'm going to go from where we left off. I'm going to shift one more down now. So we already talked about that Austin Matthews, talked about the potential condition sensitivities. Here's one of those golds. So this one's Brad Marchand in the gold, 51 Parkhurst design, but with a little bit of gold and modern shine on it. Now, again, same thing. You got solid colors and everything. This one actually looks pretty clean. Yeah. But on your copy, just be aware that because, again, solid borders and things, chipping can happen. But this one actually looks like a pretty clean copy. It looks pretty nice. So not too bad at all. And then we got ourselves one of those jukebox heroes, but this one's the autograph version. Now, is this one looks like it looks on card, but I'm guessing it's a sticker. I'm guessing they have a little window there in the panel.
Actually, I believe it is on card, but I can't remember yesterday. Yeah, it is numbered out of 10, but again, I love the design of some of these cards of the the Parkhurst champions. It was a lot of fun to watch customers opening this.
Yeah, and I'll give them credit because so I'm kind of highlighting it here on the video version of it. So the reason why I was a little confused about whether it's on card or not, it's a little tough to tell, but you can see what looks almost like an edge to it, but at the same time, it does look like the player tried to stay within that little window, so maybe that leads credence to it being on card. Either way, I think it was smart to lighten up that little section there to make room for the autograph, to let the autograph stand out a little bit more, which is a good design choice, I would say. So kudos to them on making that decision. So here on the top side of things, we got a Julio Rodriguez out of 5. And this one is from 5-star. So we've got at least a good clean autograph there. Again, a good spot for the auto to appear. So that's nice. It does stand out a little bit.
That was a redemption. So we just that just returned from top. So that's why we just left the top sticker on it.
Perfect. Nice, nice. All right. So here we go from we got Dawson Mercier from the Premier. So the rookie auto patch. Number to 65. Nice patch piece as well. So that's pretty solid. Got to have a can-con.
I believe he's from Newfoundland too. So we had to, represent for all the our Newfoundland collectors.
Blair.
Nice.
Yeah, Blair. Basically Blair.
Basically Blair. Got it. All right, so we got a Foundations clear cut. So we got a nice acetate here of Steve Yzerman, number to 25. We did talk about the whole thing. So this would be an example of a really quality card coming out of this one. I like the UD Foundations. I like the design. Numbered out of 25, Steve Yzerman, on-card autograph. Clean-looking card with the acetate design and everything as well. So this would be what I would constitute a very good pull out of this product.
And this was actually a redemption as well. So we've been kind of accumulating redemptions, and then we finally sent them in. So they're slowly starting to come back. But I love Yzerman's auto.
Mm-hmm.
Very nice, very nice. And this was a Heroes and Prospects complete jersey of Leon Draisaitl. So we've got the jersey number, emblem, and a tie down. So we've got 4 different memorabilia pieces on this one. Some multicolored pieces as well. So a good, clean design from Heroes and Prospects.
Yeah, and this is a 1-of-1. So I believe it will be, we're just going to put it on eBay, $4.99 to start, and let the market have fun with it. So you never know with these Heroes and Prospects in the game products. It might sell for $8 or $400. So we just said, let's put it on there and see what happens.
Very nice. So the link to the eBay store is in the description, so you can check it out for yourself. And when it shows up there, you can take a stab at it and take a run at it at that address. Then we got here 2021 Topps Formula One, Lewis Hamilton in a PSA 10, the gold version.
Number to 50.
Nice, nice. And you can see, like I said, what I mentioned usually before, and we've definitely got the case here. We've got a nice mix and match of different things. So now we've gone from hockey to Formula One, and now we're about to go to football here. So we got Brock Purdy here, 2022 Chronicles. This is a photogenic hollow bronze in the PSA 10. So a good action shot of Brock Purdy, screaming in joy. This probably wasn't during the Super Bowl.
No.
Just throwing it out there, probably not.
And this is a variation too. Normally, like a base Chronicles wouldn't be much of a big deal, but this is the photogenic hollow bronze variation, and it's a pop 3. So actually, that was on eBay, and I believe it sold right away. So it's headed to a 49ers fan.
Yeah.
Very nice. Now, my jokes aside, I do think it's great when they do take different kind of photography, or it's an action shot or a celebration or something. And basically, you know that something happened, like maybe threw a touchdown just before this. Like, so whatever it is, you can go find out maybe what game this came from. So it's nice to have a little variation as opposed to kind of the generic kind of poses and, you know, action shots. This one here is right in the middle of potentially a celebration, which is actually a great, if you're a Brock Purdy fan, that's kind of a cool variant on what is the normal that we would expect.
He's flexing like Blair does after he changes his shoes every morning.
I was gonna say, I assume that was part of his normal routine, like finishes with the shoes and then boom.
I'm ready to sell.
Whatever the man needs to do to pump himself up, I'm not here to judge.
Love talking about Blair when he's not here.
Yeah.
There you go. So back to Heroes and Prospects here. So we got a Heroes and Prospects autograph from the Erie Otters. We got a Connor McDavid here. So this one, I don't know what the pricing is on these, but I would usually, with a lot of these Heroes and Prospects, this is usually an opportunity to get yourself a nice autograph of a quality player, less than it would cost you for the NHL variant.
Yes, I believe comps, like, I mean, depending on the day, but yeah, you can probably get it anywhere from like 250 to 500. So yeah, definitely if you want a McDavid, you know, it's a nice little early auto from him.
Mm-hmm. Now, I don't remember if they had a product in it, but if they have ones where they got some of these Erie Otter, like with that crest patch,
Cool.
would make some amazing patch pieces. I'm sure they've put that in a product somewhere, but I'm just saying that would be really good with the Erie Otter. You get a piece of the Otter on there with a McDavid patch piece. That would, I think, be a solid collectible if you're into collecting McDavid. So this one's 2023 Mosaic. This is a micro Mosaic, a Joe Burrow in a PSA 10. So I actually hadn't seen this one. So this is kind of an interesting take.
Yeah. Caught my eye when it came in. Mm-hmm. And again, a little bit harder for us to get football around here. So I jumped on it. And I think it sells for like $400 to $500 US. And that is actually in our eBay store right now.
Very nice. Very nice. And we got some Pokemon here to finish up here. So if either one of you, Sherry or Steve, wants to add in something. So I'm going to read what it says here. So we got the Pokemon. You told me what the SWSH was, Sherry. Could you refresh my memory?
Sword and Shield. So it's the series. Yeah. Perfect. So that was the last one. This series that was just out was Scarlet and Violet.
Gotcha. So this is a Brilliant Stars here in a PSA 10. We've got that. By the way, just a question. Actually, no, I see it now. I was going to ask about the 154, and I actually can see the numbering down in the bottom corner. Perfect. Yeah. So they do have numbering on those. So that's great.
The number on the Pokemon cards is always on the bottom. So like on this one, you can see SV 101, maybe
107.
107 up there. Mm-hmm. So some of them will say that, some of them will have the number, but it'll always be on the bottom, on the left or the right. Older ones sometimes in the middle, but always along the bottom. So that's another Charizard from Shining Fates, another nice card.
Good stuff. Okay.
And the Jolteon VMAX from the Premium Collection in a 10. And this one's actually a promo card too. You can see on the bottom left corner, it has the black star. It actually has the word promo within the star. So that usually those come out of the boxes that come along with the collections.
Okay. Now let me ask you a quick question, just because again, being not understanding the Pokemon side of things too, I know from collectible card games in general that there are people that will collect the promos. Is there a heavy collector base for promos, or is it something where it just depends on the person?
Yeah, no, there's actually quite a few people. One of our regulars, he collects every promo, but I know there's multiple. People will search for just the promos and even the trainer cards that come out within the sets too. There's many different types of collectors for Pokemon. Like I do Mew and Mewtwo. Some might just do promos. Some might do the sets. Some might do the trainers. It really depends, but there's a little bit of everything.
All right, sounds good. All right, we got a couple more here to share. So we got a Mewtwo right here. So this is from 2017 Sun and Moon. Can you tell us a little bit about this one?
Yeah, so that's from the Shining Legends in a grade of 9, which is a pretty good grade, not like my 2. But I do actually have one of these. So just another great card. Anything 2017 really that we see come in will sell a bit quicker than the modern because it's so readily available right now.
Mhm.
So it's nice to see anything pre-2017 coming in. Then another Flareon VMAX from a premium. So this is another promo card. This would have came in a Sword and Shield box as well.
Sounds good. All right. And we got one more here to round it out.
The Lugia V. A lot of people collect the Lugia. Another great character. Lots of great artwork cards for him as well. So it's another great 10.
Very nice. Very nice. So in the kind of what came in the shop little showcase piece of it, you got a whole mix. You got a whole blend of it. We got some football. We got some Formula One. We got some Pokemon. A little bit of everything. And of course, the requisite hockey. Got to have the hockeys. A little bit of the new Parkhurst champions. We got that in there as well. So it's been a pretty good mix of things. And as we talked about, we're going to have hopefully some more things to show and some more things to talk about when we get into this card show coming up here on the weekend. So I think that'll be a lot of fun, and hopefully folks can get a chance to check it out. And usually, especially as we're getting into this time of year, it's nice to go out to check out the local show scene. So the fact that you've got a show that's happening consistently is a nice little bonus. I'd take advantage of it if you got some time on the Saturday. Go out and check it out for yourself and see if you see anything interesting. Maybe pick something up for yourself.
No,
Actually, Carlos, could I also add too? We've got over 100 new slabs that just came back from PSA. It will take me a couple days to price them because I'm kind of dodging in and out of the store since Blair's won't be here today. But Thursday-ish, there'll be a nice new inventory in the store for people to come check out.
And also don't forget our online auctions on eBay every Thursday to Thursday. So auctions end every Thursday. Get your bids in.
Perfect. Very good. So we'll start winding down on that. So good stuff. One more thing though I'll share with you, because I did pull it up prior to us actually starting the recording. We'll do a little kind of Bedard update, because I think for the next couple of weeks it'll be kind of fun to see how the numbers go as we go forward. We've talked about the PSA 10. So the PSA 10 Young Guns. And I can tell you at the time of this recording, so happening here on the March 26th that we're recording this, in terms of PSA 10s, the population is now up to 338 and counting. So it kind of goes into kind of what we talked about, that that population is going to build. That's a lot of the folks that submitted early, and a lot of folks that submitted in the faster turnaround times and everything and took advantage of some of those things. I expect that number to balloon very quickly because it's already gained hundreds in the last week or so. And I expect we'll get to 500 and then potentially 1,000 very fast. And then as the next wave, as some of the slower service levels start coming in, I think it's going to be interesting to see. So just something to keep an eye out on. If it is something you're interested in, just keep your eyes open, because I think that'll have a great impact on how the pricing goes going forward as more becomes available and people get their copy and then they're out of the market and then other people come in. The demand is still very strong. So we want to make sure we emphasize two things. The demand is still very strong, but the supply is pretty strong as well, and more are getting pulled out of packs all the time. And as that happens, I think that's going to do a lot of things for pricing. So I think if you're patient, you will have some opportunities forthcoming. That's been kind of our refrain from the beginning here. But, you do you. But it's just taking our experience. This is just what we have seen before in these kind of things when they happen. Look, your money, you do it as you will. Steve will happily accept your funds.
Absolutely.
I think that's a fair way to put it. So I want to thank Steve, Collector Scalps, Collector the People, for chiming in here. A lot of his sage wisdom. Sherry, thank you for your sage wisdom and your presence as always. And then Brad Hartlin for a bonus cameo appearance. New to this thing, but I think we'll work with the kid, and one day we'll get him up to our level. So we can only hope to elevate him to that stage. But for everybody here, AMG Collectibles, again, scrolling ticker. You've got all the different contact points. Use those. Comments. Appreciate that. Like the video. Subscribe to the channel. Now we're going to start making a push towards 500. That's the next number that we're shooting for. So for all of us, thank you. For all of us, thank you very much. And we'll catch you in the next one.